Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be checking out the Buyers Products trailer hitch double ball mount. So when it comes to choosing a ball mount, you want to make sure you get the right one for your particular application, because there really is a ton of them out there to choose from very simple ones all the way up to really elaborate ones that are adjustable and made from aluminum and everything in between really. And honestly, something like this kind of falls in the middle, that middle of the road type ball mount. And what this one's going to allow you to do is keep it simple but still really versatile. And I say that because this one's going to have two different balls that are on it. All right, so up top here you're going to have one size, and on the bottom you're going to have a different size. So if you have multiple different trailers, you're going to be able to hook up to them. If they have different size couplers and so on, you're going to be able to hook up to them using one ball mount, as opposed to having multiple ball mounts or maybe even a single one where you have to change the ball out and everything else. This is really just going to help keep things a lot more streamlined. So there is going to be two different ball mounts available, and these are both going to be identical to each other, really with just one exception. The one that we have in the back of our vehicle here today is going to have a 2-inch ball up top here, and this one down here is going to be 2 5/16 in size. And this one here that I'm holding, this ball is going to be 1 7/8 inches and a 2-inch ball on this side. So which one is going to work best for you is really just going to depend on what type of trailers you have. If you don't have a need for a 2 5/16 inch ball, but you do for a 1 7/8, and this one would be the way to go, and vice versa. So this ball mount is going to have a slight drop whenever it's in this position, a 2-inch drop. And like I said, this is the one with the 2-inch ball in this position. All right, but let's say if you were to use the other ball, or need to use the other one, you'd flip it around and set everything back up. And with it like this, we're going to get a slight rise, a 3/4 inch rise. And honestly, it makes sense. Usually the trailers that require, a larger size ball, if they have a coupler that accepts, that particular size ball, usually the bigger the ball, the bigger the trailer, and the higher up it'll sit off the ground. And that's generally speaking, but so chances are pretty good, you're pulling your kind of your classic utility trailer around with the 2-inch ball, and let's say if you have that larger camper, bumper pull camper or something like that with the larger 2 5/16, you're probably going to need that little bit of extra height, to keep everything nice and level. So kind of thought that through, and speaking of actually figuring out what type of ball mount you need, it's going to be really easy. There's a couple measurements you can take, and we'll kind of go over them right now. That way we can make sure you're getting the exact ball mount that you need to use. So just to be sure and figure out what type of ball mount you need as far as drop or rise or straight one, what you can do is just back up your tow vehicle to your trailer, and similar to this, try to have everything on level ground, and make sure your trailer is indeed level as well. And what you're going to do, just grab a tape measure, go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening and record that measurement. And then you go from the ground to the bottom of your coupler here and record that measurement. You'll subtract the coupler height from your hitch height, and whatever that difference is indeed the amount of drop or rise that you're going to need. Now, generally speaking, this type of ball mount will work with a lot of kind of your normal size SUVs, a little bit bigger SUVs, and kind of just your classic pickup trucks. So that'll kind of cover all those bases, but just be on the safe side, measure, that way you get what you need the first time. The ball mount is going to work with those 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube openings, so pretty standard there. And it is going to have a 600-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating. So that's going to be the amount of weight that's pushing down. And it's going to have a 6,000-pound maximum gross trailer weight rating. So that'll be the amount of weight that is pulling. So That's the weight of your trailer, plus anything that you might have on it. Now, I do suggest, regardless of what type of tow vehicle you have, just to grab the owner's manual and make sure it can handle that much weight before you really try to push it over what it can handle. And it's also going to use that standard 5/8 pin and clip. Pin and clip is not going to come with the ball mount, so if you don't have one, you'll need to grab one, and you can find a bunch of them here at eTrailer. And you know, you can opt for the standard good old classic one like this, or you know, if you want to keep things secured, you can actually get a locking type hitch pin as well. And what that's going to do, to remove it, you're going to need a key, and so no one will be able to take your ball mount out unless you got the key and undo it. So that's something you're interested in, it's always available. If we pull this out, take a look at the back. I mean, this thing is well built. You know, I wouldn't have any hesitation using this myself. Everything looks put together really nicely, really thick steel. The shank here is hollow steel. It's not a completely solid piece, but not really a big deal. I mean, it's nice and thick, and you know, at the end of the day, it's just really going to depend on what you're towing. If you got something super heavy, would I opt for a solid shank? Probably, but if I'm just kind of doing general purpose stuff, would not hesitate to grab this and throw it in the hitch and pull my trailer down the road. We do get some people asking about a little bit of noise back here. So for example, you know, the ball mount is going to move around a little bit. Every hitch is going to be a little different, so yours might be worse or it might be better, and that's really normal. You know, we see that all the time. It's just what you're going to run into. And nothing wrong with that. If it don't bother you, it don't bother you. But if it does, you can correct that issue by using what's called an anti-rattle device. There's a bunch of different types out there, and more or less what it's going to do is eliminate any slop or play there in that connection point and keep this from bouncing around. So when it comes to actually hooking up your trailer, you know, I get to lower this down on it and kind of see how it feels. Goes on nice and smooth. I don't feel it hanging up or anything, so pretty straightforward there, and really shouldn't give you too many issues. So at the end of the day, a pretty nice ball mount actually. You know, it's going to be easy to use, give you a couple options, and get the job done. And that'll finish up our look at of the Buyers Products Trailer Hitch Double Ball Mount.